Okay, so I did the belt loops off camera, but you saw me do the belt loops on the pair of jeans, and I don't want to be repeating myself. None of you don't want to see the same shit over and over again. So I did these off camera. The only difference is this one I made a couple inches longer, looped it back into itself at the bottom here before I stitched it in, and I put a steel ring on there for hanging your keys off of or whatever. It's just a little addition. Easy to do, doesn't take any real explanation other than just make it a couple inches longer and fold it back in. Simple. So anyway, now that that's done, outside of the pockets, which, are the last thing, and you can get creative with them however you want, this is the main structure, and that's all the sewing. No, seriously, that's all the sewing on this thing as far as making a kilt. Making it a utility kilt, adding pockets, that's a little bit more sewing. That's just making bag pockets. This is the last bit of the sewing. All that's left now is metal work. So we're going to rivet the apron on in 7 spots. And we're going to mirror that with snaps to do the closure in 7 spots. On the back, see how well I can do this? There we go. Look at that. On the back, we're going to punch in eyelets, lacing plate, down the center here, along the length of the yoke, just before the pleat starts. So from there to there, which is about what? 7-8 inches, I think. Let's measure it and find out. See how close my guess is. Huh, 8 inches. It's a good guess. I would have guessed 7, but 8 inches. Anyway, now we'll go over to the work table. I got to clean off the work table. So I got to go from the cutting table to the work table. I got to clean up a bunch of stuff, put a bunch of stuff away, and then I'll be able to punch holes in it and hammer these in, which is always fun. So I'll set up and show you that when it happens. Okay, I got this cleaned up as much as I can, as best as I can. Asbestos is never good. But got this cleaned up to the best of my ability. Now let's punch a couple holes in. I'll shake the hell out of this thing when we do it, but I'm going to punch holes in here. We'll put these eyelets in and punch them in. So I'll start getting that centered as best I can there. Oh, that's pretty good. So that's the start point right there. And of course it didn't go through. I'm going to have to do it closer to the legs of the table, which are right here. So it'll provide some support backing so it doesn't bounce as much when it gets struck. Yep, right through. Okay. Handful of pieces out there. Now, make use of the support structure of the legs underneath, table legs underneath here. So I can do this in 1. And there's your first eyelet. So that's going to be a lacing plate down 8 inches, so it'll be what, 3, 4 more. I'll put them in there, and then I'll show you one side finished. All right, there's one side done. There's 5 eyelets down the one edge, length of the yoke. It's not bad. And I already showed you how to do the measuring for punching in eyelets. When we did the corset, it's the length of this cutout goes between the holes. See? That's the same from that one to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. So, yeah, that's how that works. But we got 5 there. I'll do the same on the other side, and then I'll show you. Okay, I hammered those in. Get it out over here. So you can see, yes, it just laces up like a normal pair of shoes. Ties with a bow, same as everything else. And I don't know, I like the way it looks. That's just me. I like the way the lacing plate looks at the back of a kilt like that, because it sits, you know, from the waist hanging down. It just, to me, looks good. Again, I think this snakeskin print looks good, but I have no taste. So, yeah. Next up, I'm going to lay out and rivet on the apron. At least get the part of it that rivets on riveted onto this edge. That means I have to use the punch over here to punch the little holes for the rivets. That would be this punch for the rivets as opposed to this one which we used for the 1/4-inch eyelets. This goes away. That's away. These go away back in their bucket. So I'll clean this up, get out the necessary pieces, start punching holes for rivets, laying stuff out, I'll be pinning the apron where it goes, specifically pinning it where the rivets are going to sit, so that those positions are held. We punch in the holes here, and to put the rivets in, I get to use this monster. It's not often I get to use that. Rivets and snaps are the only, well, and some small sizes of eyelets are the only things I can use this press for. So this saves a lot of work. Instead of swinging a hammer, I can just leg press it. And you can put a lot of force on there and compress things quite tight. Which is why you don't want to get your fingers in here at all. There was a time when I had access to more dies than I do for this. I only have a few right now. Turns out the dies are like $30 a pair. I got a good few in there, but not nearly the collection I want. So I'm going to need those for the snaps. I need these ones for the snaps. And I'm going to need a flat plate for the rivets. Now there's a flat plate. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Anyway, I'll start pinning everything up and then show you how I go about that, and I'll start punching holes. All right. Now, I punched the holes. Everything's pinned together here. I just punch the holes in. You can see a couple of them there, I think. So, the bottom plate is round. The bottom piece of this press, this die, is round. That's the top. The top die is not perfectly flat. It's pretty damn close. Because it's not perfectly flat, I'll compensate for it, make it flat, by using a flat plate. There's one rivet. Right quick in it. With a hammer it takes longer than that. I'll do another one here and I'll show you what they look like. So that's what they look like from the front. Well, not too bad, huh? Looks like a brass snap button. But yeah, I'll do the bunch of those and then show you what it looks like done. Okay, so riveting is done on this half. Got 7 in. And I've pinned up this half and marked it. So if you can see the chalk points very well, but it's marked for where it has to be punched. And the 4 pieces there. Sorry, 4 pieces there that have to be punched in. And then the snaps will go in. Okay, I'll punch a holes in setup, and then I'll show you how that works. Let's set you up here where you can see everything. Make sure you're centered. There you are. Okay. Here's how you put in snap closures. There's the face, there's the back. That's the cap. And this is the ring. So the ring, first thing we do, take the top die out with the flat on it, put this one in because that has to attach on there. This bottom die is domed, which matches the curve that the cap on the snap is supposed to have. So we put that in there, line it up, hit it hard. And there we go. That's one. Those of you who aren't blind will notice I don't have any brass. The rivets are brass. The snaps are chrome. It's because I don't have any brass snaps right now. I'm the only one wearing this, so I'm the only one that cares. Or would have any reason to care whether or not it matches. Personally, I don't. There's 2. Put the ring on. Put the cap in. Line it up. Hit it. There we are. It's very easy. I'll put those in. I'll put all those in. And then I'll show you how to do the back half of the snap. Okay, so to put the bottom in, take both of those out. This is the base die. This is the top die to put the other half of the snap in. Now that those are in, I'll get the parts out and show you. Okay, that's all centered where it's supposed to be. And for a couple of these, I have, where'd they go? Washers. It's just because some of these are only going through a single strip of cloth, I'm going to put a washer on. That's going through multiple, so that's fine. So the back goes through. The top half of it sits on there. That whole thing sits over the post on that, and it's in. That fast, that easy. I'll show you again. Actually, I'll show you the one that needs a washer. So you see that? That's a leather washer. It's just a strip of leather, little chunk to reinforce it against a single layer of fabric like that. So that goes in there. That sits on top of it. The whole thing sits over the post. Hit it twice. That's it. Okay, I'll put the rest of those in and I'll show you how it went. All right, so you got those two, these 3. I'll flip this piece out. You got those 2, these 3. Now let's see what it looks like when they're closed. Okay, all laid out, nice and shiny, brass on one side, chrome on the other, but, you know, at least it matches one side to the other. Left over right closure means it's men's clothes. Women's clothes are right over left closure, as always. So this is a kilt, it is men's. Has a little ring on it. It's got belt loops. Because of the positioning of the lower 3 snaps and lower 3 rivets, even if the wind kicks it up, it's not going to show off your junk. It'll hang just below the knees. Well, I'm the one it fits, so I'm the one that's going to have to wear it. Right now it is wearable, but I'll wait until there's pockets on it, and then I'll give you the whole fashion show. Okay, so there is the front. There is the back. Next step in his grand process is, of course, making pockets. So that'll happen tomorrow.